been a while since our last chat, so I wanted to make a video to just briefly go over some of the things that have happened in the world of ARMS news. Biff doesn't tweet on the weekends, so even though it's felt like forever to me, it's really just because there hasn't been any news in the past few days. I was thinking I may go over the news 2 days at a time to help people catch up on the important stuff and offer some insights, but we'll see what happens in the future. So for starters, we got 3 tweets from Biff on Monday. All 3 of them were focused around Mechanica, but none of them actually showed Mechanica or the scrapyard, which is her stage, so I just assumed they're about Mechanica. The first one was a look inside this little hideout, or office, or whatever it is. There's a couple interesting things going on here, so I'll show you what I found. The first thing is that this is just kind of a general point, but it looks like this is part of the scrapyard, but a part that isn't accessible from the stage itself. I'd almost even go so far as to say it's a hideaway that only Mechanica knows about. One thing I've wondered while thinking about Mechanica is where her family is. We haven't heard much about them other than a comment about the scrapyard being the home of Mechanica's parents, but I think that was most likely just a translation error on my part, which really is supposed to mean her original home or place of birth, etc. Not really something literally to do with her parents. So is Mechanica an orphan? It's possible she never knew her parents and took a job working in a scrapyard where she learned how to build things on her own and eventually became a genius just out of necessity, building the things she needed to survive. I'll also mention that the caption on the picture says, "Somewhere in the scrapyard, is this Mechanica's studio?" So she may not live in the scrapyard. She may very well have a home with parents and this is just her workshop, but I kind of see this as being the home of an orphan who's made her way in the world by learning things out of necessity. The whole handmade, hardworking feel of Mechanica and the scrapyard all kind of lend itself to this theory, so it's something to think about moving forward. A few other things I wanted to mention is that there are large tire treads sitting next to the suit, which don't appear on Mechanica. Either this was an earlier model of her suit, or it's a different suit entirely. I'm excited to see if that comes into play in the game. The second thing was that there are several drawings of the Ribbon Girl logo scattered throughout the workshop. I think maybe Mechanica may be entering the ARMS tournament, or the Grand Prix as Biff has been calling it, maybe in order just to meet her idol Ribbon Girl. That'd be funny, but also kind of sad because Ribbon Girl would have to beat her into losing and maybe Mechanica wouldn't like her so much after that. The last thing I saw was this framed picture of Mechanica as a little girl with a spring arm wrapped around her. This is probably where she got her love of ARMS fighters. I couldn't tell where she is by the background, maybe the spring gym, but one thing I know is that this is not Springman's arms, they're way too thick, so I'm wondering who it could be. It would make sense for it to be Springman. He's the poster child for ARMS fighting and a major celebrity, but the arm size just doesn't check out, and neither does the color or texture of the arm. The only character we know of that has arms this big is Master Mummy, but I don't think it's possible for it to be Master Mummy. According to Mummy's backstory, and I'll bring this up again shortly, he woke up in a hospital and is using the tournament for personal reasons. I assume then that he isn't a regular fighter each tournament, nor is he going to be posing with children for photos. There's some writing or texture on the arms that kind of matches Master Mummy's, but Master Mummy has several layers of cloth bandages, whereas this arm is a tight coil. That and the shoulder joints are completely different. We could have another character hint here, boys. The next tweet was another picture of somewhere in the scrapyard with these blueprints of Mechanica's suit. You can see the blueprints for those tire treads again, as well as what the hands of the machine look like when they aren't wearing gloves. The final tweet of Monday night was this higher quality picture of Mechanica's blueprints. One thing I wonder is if she made these blueprints herself, or if she stole these from somewhere in the scrapyard and used them to build her own machine. There's also some handwritten notes scattered on the pages, which is really useful to me because I've been working on a way to figure out if the ARMS language can be translated into actual words. A problem I've had with that is that the font that ARMS uses kind of runs the different characters together, so it's hard to tell when one letter ends and another begins. This could help me out a lot, but I'm not holding my breath because it's probably not an actual language and doesn't translate to anything, kind of like the Splatoon language. It's just meant to look like a mix between English and Japanese, but one can hope. So moving on to Tuesday night, I was really surprised that we only got 1 tweet. Usually we get at least 2. Technically I'm making this video before the next tweets could come in, but it's been several hours and the tweets always come within seconds of each other, so I think we only got 1 tonight. If we get more though, I'll update you. So this tweet is a look at Master Mummy and the kind of guy he is. I mentioned earlier that he's using the Grand Prix for personal reasons, so I'll give you a little more info in case you're unfamiliar with the character bios. Basically, Master Mummy's backstory is that he woke up in the hospital covered in bandages and has no memory of who he is. So what does he do? He enters the Grand Prix in order to find his family. I love this. I love how they made him seem so scary and intimidating, but really, he has one of the most honest and heartfelt backstories of any of the characters. And here he is saving a fan's balloon from death in the mesosphere. What a nice guy. Like I said, if there are any more tweets tonight, I'll update you in the comments, or if I think there's enough info, I may even make a follow-up video. For now though, that's it for this one, so in case you haven't already, subscribe for more ARMS news and follow me on Twitter for news in the future about videos, tournaments, and other things. Thank you for supporting the channel so far, thank you so much for 500 subscribers, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.